Hey Damien, this is a response to your Unit 2 discussion post. Alright, so you chose, let's see here, Chapter 6, Chapter 7, Question 3. Chapter 7, Question 3. Design a survey to collect data on a topic of your choice. Be sure to address these points. What is the purpose of your survey? What is its goal? What research questions or hypotheses are tested? Are there any operational definitions required? Develop 10 questions relevant to the problem. Uh, Describe your approach, the approach used to collect data, and design a cover letter or an interview schedule for the study. Conduct a pretest to test the questionnaire. Okay, so this is what you decided to do, and I'm looking over some of your content here. Oh, and I'm just going to talk about the things that are mainly in your post, since there's some things that I would like to address here. Okay, first off, let me address the major elephant in the room here. Um, Mass media class, mass media research. We're a program in mass media. You're talking about maybe general psychology. Um, so I would like you guys, as you go forward, to remember this is a class that deals with mass communication and mass media. Any projects you come up with, surveys you come up with here, they need to have a very direct mass media link to it. I don't know how to make that any more clear. Make sure you get that down. This isn't just a general psychology class or general research methods class. This is specifically about mass communication, mass media. So when you just ask about how wearing different things make you feel, I fail to see how there's any connection to mass media here, or at very least that you are researching mass media. So I won't beat that dead horse anymore, but again, mass media class, make sure you do that in the future. Now, a couple of things as you go forward. When you start off with what is the purpose of this study, one of the things that you say is I and many other researchers believe it does. In this case, you're talking about everyone needs a little retail shopping therapy, but does the way you shop affect your attitude? Who are these other researchers? What support do you have for your claim that this actually does occur? You can't just make claims like that. So when you say many other researchers believe this is the way it is, give me some of these many other researchers. Let me know who exactly you're talking about, so that I might be able, if I wanted to replicate your study, go and see what work other people did. I might look at the work that you're citing and go, yep, spot on. Damien's got that in the bag. Or I might look at it and say, yeah, Damien's seems like he's sort of misinterpreted what these other people are saying. Now let me redo this study to see if I get the same results with my interpretation of these previous research or this previous research. You can't just say I and a bunch of other people agree that this is the way it is and go from there. That's not how this works. Then you go on to make a lot of claims about your style, your creativity, your charisma, about fashion affects the change of your mood, health, and overall confidence, according to whom. Yeah, your clothes, the clothes you wear are like badges of honor, again, according to who. Your clothing is a strong influence on the perception of how people view you. I have no doubt that there's research out there that covers this. You just need to make sure you cite this. In your research questions themselves, does your mood get altered by the things you wear? I think rephrasing this as, does your clothing choice perhaps affect or alter your mood, would then put your independent variable first and then your dependent variable. In other words, the who is doing or the what is doing is preceded by or it precedes what is occurring. I change my clothes. Does it change my mood? So independent variable first, dependent variable, my mood, second. Next, do you prefer to be more comfortable with usual clothing choices or take risks? This is one of many, many things you've got in here where you really need an operationalized definition. What is usual clothing choices? What does it mean to take risks? Is it possible that someone supposedly takes risks so often that that becomes their usual clothing choice? Risky choices for one person could be usual choices for another. Usual choices for another could be risky choices for someone else. So what does this even mean? It seems like a bit of a vague question that you're asking. Now, going into the questions, when we get into the surveys themselves, there's there's a couple of operationalized terms or terms that you should operationalize. For example, does shopping bring out your feminine side? Define feminine. What exactly are we talking about when we talk about feminine side? Is there some better definition that we could use that might be more ubiquitously understood than feminine side? So what do we mean here? Okay, I'm not going to talk more about this. The other thing that we're dealing with the questions that you've got that you've got laid out here is they are all yes or no questions. Now, that's not intrinsically a problem. It just limits the amount of information and the quality of the information that you can get. Do you like to shop? Yes. Do you plan your shopping trips carefully? No. When you look good, do you feel good? Yes. Does it take time, or do you take time to pick out your wardrobe? Sure. So forth and so on. If you rephrase this in such a way as to use perhaps a Likert scale, it might be much more valuable. For example, how much enjoyment do you get from shopping? One might be very, very little or very little. 5 might be very much. And then, you have those two ends of the spectrum and then options between those. So at that point, there's more differentiation than just saying yes or no. Same thing with how much planning goes into your shopping trips. None at all. A great deal. When you look good, do you feel good? Or, when I look good, I feel good. Strongly agree, strongly disagree. Something like that. Or how much do you agree with this statement? Something like that. So as you ask these questions, just going with a yes or no question is not wrong. It just could be much better. Just keep that in mind as you build surveys. Yes, no questions, not usually all that helpful. Beyond that, not bad. Not bad at all. You created your survey. You didn't necessarily have to do that, but kudos to you. If you do have any questions or you just like to chat about this, especially considering we're coming up on your research proposal, go ahead and email me. Let's set up a time. Let's have a phone conversation, and we can run through some of these questions if you'd like, if you decide that you want to use a survey as part of your research project. It's very important to make sure that you phrase your questions correctly in this. Overall, not bad, but it could be better.